Hello everyone, this is Patty Behan and I want to thank you for joining me today. In this video we're making these sparkly and glittery wedding champagne flutes, the perfect gift for the bride and groom. We'll be using some alcohol ink alloys, some glitter gels, this letterette stamp set, and some embossing powder. So let's get started. To begin, you want to make sure you first wash your glass and then clean it with some rubbing alcohol to get off any smudges or anything else. Then we're going to use our anti-static pouch, and this is so your embossing powder doesn't flume. And I'm using the wedding stamp set from Letterette, and I'm going to grab my Mr. stamp first, and I'm putting it on a piece of acetate because it'll give me the flexibility to go around the round glass. So once you get it on there, you take your clear embossing pad and ink up the stamp, and then you'll go ahead and stamp it towards the bottom here. Now this is going to take a steady hand and a little bit of patience. You might find that you have to do it a couple times, but here that looks good. And I'm using some gold embossing powder, and I'll sprinkle that over the top. And I have a paintbrush here that's dry, and I can take off any excess embossing powder that I need to. And then we'll go ahead and put the excess back in the jar, and then we'll heat this until it melts. And just so that you know, the embossing powder is going to stay hot on the glass for quite some time. So make sure when it's done embossing, you let it cool down completely before we move on to the next step. And then here you can see how it came out. I'll put a paper behind here so you get a better look. Now we'll repeat the process with the Mrs. Stamp and silver embossing powder. So here, if you miss a spot, you can take the embossing pen and fill in that spot, pour the embossing powder over it, and go ahead and melt it. And I wanted to let you know that an alternative is to stamp the word on a piece of paper, stick it in the glass where you want it to land, and then trace it with an embossing pen, pour the powder over top of it, and then melt it. That will also work too. And here's what it looks like. Don't forget, you want to make sure this is completely cooled before you go on to the next step. And let me just go ahead and grab the other one so you can see the difference. And then we're on to the next. So here I have some blue painter's tape that I'm using to mask off the bottom and where I want the glitter to start at the bottom here. So I'm going to paint with the alloys on the stem, and then we're going to put a couple coats of the glitter gels on top of that. So let me show you how we do this working on the silver glass right here. The first thing you want to do is turn it over, and we're going to mask the bottom. And if you have thicker tape, that'll work as well, but we'll just put as many pieces as we need to cover the bottom. And then once we have it all covered, we'll trim off the excess with a pair of scissors. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to mask off the bottom of the glass under where we embossed. So we'll take some more tape, and we want to place it kind of where you see this little divot here. That's where you want the bottom of the tape to go. And we have to do this in pieces so that you can kind of get a straight line. So you just go ahead, and you're just worrying that the bottom of the tape is straight. Don't worry about the top of the tape. The glitter is going to go on the stem. So we're going to go ahead and use this sterling alloy, and we'll shake it up first, and then we'll go ahead and paint it on. And to do that, we're going to use an ink blending tool with foam. We'll put some on the foam here and then just dab on the alloy. Make sure you get the bottom of the glass and the stem and to the bottom of the tape. Okay, and once that's done, it looks like this, and it only takes a little while to dry. So we'll just set that aside and we'll go ahead and we'll do our gold glass. And for this one, we're going to use the gilded alloy and shake it up again and put it on the foam and just repeat the same process until you cover the whole piece. Now when using these, we're going to be placing the glitter gel on top so it'll seal in the alloy, but otherwise I wouldn't recommend to use the alloy without a sealer on glass. Okay, let's put that aside to dry. And now we'll see if this is dry. Yep, it looks like it's ready. And we're going to use the Asteroid Stickles Glitter Gel, and we'll use a palette knife to start applying the glitter gels on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the foam applicator to help smooth things out a bit. And then you just want to continue to do this until you have pretty good coverage. We're going to make 2 coats, so you don't have to fully cover everything. We'll get it on the next coat. All right, that looks good. And we'll put that aside so we can grab our gold one, see if that's dry. Yep, it looks like it's ready. And for this one, we'll be using Solar Flare Glitter Gel. And it's the same process. Take your palette knife and start putting it on there with that. And go ahead and take the ink blending tool with the foam just to tap it down a bit. And then you just keep working it in there until you get a pretty good coat. And you can use your finger too to help flatten the glitter. Okay, so now I wanted to show you, I've done 2 coats and this is dry. I let it dry for quite some time in between. And now we can take off our masking tape here. And you can see what that looks like, how sparkly and shiny it is. The video doesn't really do it justice. It's really so much prettier in person. And now we take off this tape and you can see how that came out. It is just gorgeous. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our silver glass, and same thing, we'll take off the bottom and then remove this tape here, and these came out so pretty. The video just doesn't do this justice. I would recommend that you hand wash these with care, and then you should be good to go. And as always, if you'd like to give this project a try, we have a link to the supply list in the description box below. And for more crafty videos, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.